Good day and welcome to the African News, a broadcast from Canada. My name is Sandra Asante. Let's take a look at the top stories. Forces in Ethiopia's Tigray region launch new offensive. EU chief urges Ethiopia sanctions over Tigray crisis. US gravely concerned over rising tensions in Tigray. At least 10 people killed in South Africa protest. Details of these stories after the break. You're welcome back from the break to first story. Tigrayan forces claimed Tuesday to have launched a new offensive in the conflict-torn northern region of Ethiopia, 2 weeks after the federal government declared a unilateral ceasefire in the face of forces' advances. A spokesman for the Tigrayan forces told AFP they have seized Alamata, the main town in southern Tigray, after launching the offensive on Monday. Getachew Reda said fighting was also taking place in the western Tigray. The claims could not be independently confirmed because communications were largely down in the area. While an Ethiopian military spokesman did not immediately respond to a request for comment, the Tigray Defense Forces last month swept across the large part of Tigray and seized the regional capital Mekelle after 8 months of brutal conflict with federal troops. The fighting, marked by grisly massacres and widespread sexual violence, has killed thousands of people, while the United Nations says hundreds of thousands are on the brink of famine. Security forces and officials from the neighboring Amhara region had moved to both the southern and western areas of Tigray in November in support of the Ethiopian army after Tigrayan forces cleared out during the early phase of the war. We promise to deliberate every square inch of Tigray, Getachew said. Yesterday, Monday, we launched an offensive in the southern region of the Raya and were able to absolutely rout Federal Defense Forces and Amhara Special Forces Division, he said. We have been able to secure most of the southern Tigray, including Korem and Alamata, the main town in the area. Getachew said TDF fighters were still in hot pursuit of pro-government fighters, adding, "We don't want to give them a chance to regroup." Despite the Tigray conflict that had battered the global reputation, the TDF has described its seizure of Mekelle and most of the Tigray as a major victory and branded the government's unilateral ceasefire a joke. Rebel leader later said they accepted the ceasefire in principle but posed strict conditions, including the withdrawal of the region of Eritrea and Amhara forces. Our next story is still in Ethiopia, and the European Union Foreign Policy Chief Joseph Borrell has urged members of the state to consider imposing sanctions over the crisis in Ethiopia region of Tigray. I believe that the situation in Ethiopia would certainly require that we consider the possibility of all options at our disposal, and this option, the option of restrictive measures, to my understanding, must be on the table, he said after a meeting of the EU foreign ministers in Brussels. As a result of 8 months of war, during the aid has frequently been blocked, hundreds of thousands of people were facing famine. Mr. Borrell said the EU wanted a ceasefire declared by the Ethiopian government, to be implemented on the ground. He said the region was instead being cut off from the rest of the world. Last month, forces fighters retook large parts of Tigray. The Ethiopian government has been accused of shutting down essential services. There include electricity and telecommunication. We move to our next story. The United States has said it has gravely concerns over the escalation of tensions and reports of ongoing fighting in the western part of Ethiopia's conflict-torn Tigray region. The concerns follow comments from the European Union Foreign Policy Chief Joseph Borrell who has urged member states to consider imposing sanctions on the crisis. The U.S. reiterates its call for a negotiation ceasefire as clashes were reported between forces in Tigray and Amhara region along disputed areas. Fighters loyal to the region's main political group, the Tigray People's Liberation Front (TPLF), now claim to have taken the towns of Kerim and Alamata as they advance towards the south. It is feared continuing fighting could significantly undermine efforts to provide much-needed humanitarian assistance to millions of civilians caught in the crossfire. Thousands are believed to have been killed in 8 months-long war, while more than 2 million people have been forced from their homes. Last month, fighters loyal to the TPLF recaptured key cities, including the regional capital in Tigray. The government announced a unilateral ceasefire and withdrew its troops. We are in South Africa, and an ongoing rout in South Africa have claimed the lives of at least 10 people. Extra police officers and army have been deployed to quell the unrest. What had started out as a protest to express unhappiness over the imprisonment of the South African's former president Jacob Zuma has turned into widespread looting. 2 provinces have been affected by violent protests and looting: KwaZulu-Natal, which is Jacob Zuma's home province, and the economic hub of Gauteng. Authorities said the economy has been affected as shops and other businesses have been damaged and had stock stolen. Police have arrested more than 700 people in areas where the looting continues unabated. President Cyril Ramaphosa addressed the nation on Monday evening and called on communities to remain calm and stop undermining the rule of law. Thank you so much for watching today's African News. My name is Sandra Asante. Do have a beautiful day. I'll see you some other time.